Hello viewers, today we'll talk about what is the difference between backup and disaster recovery. Many times people are confused about backup and disaster recovery. People are using it one for the other. Sometimes people think that backup and disaster recovery both are same, which is not the case. So let's understand today what is data backup and what is disaster recovery, and when is data backup needed and when is disaster recovery needed. So data backup is the process of making a copy or several copies of your data to protect it. You use it to restore data in case of accidental deletion, database corruption, or if there was a problem with software upgrades. Whereas disaster recovery, on the other hand, refers to the process of quickly re-establishing access to resource after an outage. For instance, your plan might include switching over a redundant set of servers and a storage system until your primary servers are functional again. The loss of data is both costly and stressful, and when it comes to business operation, losing even 100 files will cost a company some downtime, and even more significant is the loss of revenue. Most business cannot afford to do this happen. So this is why having a backup and disaster recovery plan is in place is crucial for companies which is large or small. So you need to do both backup and data recovery and have a robust tested disaster recovery plan to ensure business continuity. Backup are simple. They are a copy of your corporate system and data that can be used to bring a failed system back online. However, backup do not necessarily include the infrastructure to restore it. You may have a copy of data or system but no infrastructure to run the system or process the data. If you have system backed up to disk, tape or the cloud, but it may be very time consuming to utilize these backups if you have a need. Disaster recovery refers to a more advanced form of system copies that includes processing capabilities. If you have a disaster, you should be able to bring your system back online using your disaster recovery platform. So there are 6 reasons you need backup and disaster recovery plan. First is to avoid any human error and to compensate the human error as well. Second is due to cyber threats, if anything is missing or deleted or goes wrong, you can be back online. Third is that to avoid to if there is a natural disaster, you can be up online again with the help of backup and disaster recovery plan. Fourth is for hardware failure. Sixth is for loss of stolen devices and business recovery. So if you have any of these errors, backup and disaster recovery plan will help you to be online quickly as soon as possible. So data backup and versus data recovery. Let's see what is the difference. So data backup works best for long-term archival or data retention. This way you can quickly gain access to a lost or damaged file if needed. On the other hand, disaster recovery is best used to restore normal functions in case of unforeseen events like natural disaster. So you can simply perform a failover to transform workloads to the VM replicas at the disaster recovery location. This way your business can continue to function as normal until the production site is available again. The goal of backup is to protect corporate data from loss, but the key functionality of disaster recovery is to perform a faster recovery after a disaster and ensures a high level of availability for business critical applications. The target for standalone standard recovery are servers, workstations, and mobile devices, whereas disaster recovery is aimed at business critical applications and servers. So a backup can be simply copying your files to another disk. This can be done in a multitude of different ways, including a secondary computer or a cloud-hosted backup solutions. Having a backup is essential for all business operations. Backup are used to protect data in case you accidentally delete something important. If your computer gets stolen or if the hard drive crashes, a backup can help you easily restore the data you have recently lost. Whereas disaster recovery is related to backup, except it is most likely to be a bigger problem. Disaster recovery completely mirrors your entire system, including disk drives and servers. This allows the company to restore the entire system without having to reinstall the operating system. This can also allow your employees to work while the system is being recovered using a mirrored system, allowing almost no downtime at all. Data backup versus disaster recovery. A disaster recovery strategy requires a scaled out planning, which includes determining mission critical system, creation of recovery orders and communication process, and a way to perform valid tests. Whereas planning backup is just a daily task and is simpler, as all it has to do is to meet the data retention requirements and RPO recovery point objective. Recovery time objective and recovery point objective are crucial for any business. RTO is the time it takes for business to return to the normal operation after an outage, and RPO is the amount of data you can afford to lose in disaster. So you must set this up properly. Data backup have longer RTOs and RPOs, making them not suitable for business critical data that must be quickly restored after a disaster. However, disaster recovery is the opposite because you are replicating your critical VM to quickly perform failover if necessary. When it comes to resource allocation, backups and disaster recovery are complete opposite. Backup does not require a lot of attention or storage space as they are stored in a compressed state. Disaster recovery, however, is the opposite, as it requires a separate site with a fully operational IT environments ready if you need to perform a failover at any moment. Disasters are bad even if they are small scale. They always have the capability to slow down a business. One can always restore original data with the help of backup. In simple words, backup is the copy of your data which is updated on a daily basis, whereas disaster recovery plan is the copy of IT infrastructure of your business saved in a secondary locations. With the help of backup, you can fetch any documents that goes missing, but with the help of a proper disaster recovery, one can just reboot the whole technology infrastructure. So the difference between backup standard recovery and disaster recovery is backup is protection of data from loss, and disaster recovery is quick system recovery. For target device feature, backup means servers, workstation, mobile, cloud apps, whereas for disaster recovery, target device is critical servers and virtual machines. Now, the recovery requirement for backup is data loss avoidance, long-term retention of past data, granular restore of single files, emails. For disaster recovery, recovery requirements are quick failover, critical application, and server to an offset requirement fail back to the primary site. For storage type, for backup, local and offsite cold storage is fine. For disaster recovery, offsite hot storage is needed. Recovery time objective is slow in case of backup and fast in case of disaster recovery. Now, user frequency is backup is often and disaster recovery is very rare. And ease of disaster recovery testing is for backup it is complex, and disaster recovery it is easy. Now people are using cloud as well these days for backup and recovery. So cloud backups and recovery is a service that will take care of copying and archiving files of the client on a remote server. The data are transmitted over a secure network to the cloud-based server. The cloud-based disaster recovery, on the other hand, is an infrastructure as a service which backs up the data on a remote server. It is recommended that you choose backup as a service provider rather than rely on non-proprietary solutions to handle your data. File backup versus image backup. A regular backup copies your server files and is meant for storing item on a small scale. A system image by contrast copies the entire server or virtual machines. Image backups create a snapshot of the operating system and all the data associated with it, including the system state and configuration. When recovery is required, a system image will allow full restore without having to reinstall the operating system, find product keys, set up users and permissions, and other system settings. So in summary, we can say for backup and disaster recovery, business today cannot afford to neglect data backup or disaster recovery. No matter how hard it is to believe that it might happen, it is always better to be prepared. Don't wait for disaster to happen and plan before it happens, because data backups and disaster recovery plans are only helpful if they are designed, deployed, and tested long before they are needed. If you need quick recovery but do not need long-term retention, it may be possible to use DR as a form of backup. On the other hand, if you do not require quick recovery but need long-term retention, then backup only may be the best solution. So thank you so much for watching today's video, and if you think the videos are helpful, do like the video and subscribe to the channel.